Yo, what's up, guys? Before we get into this episode, we just want to make a quick announcement. Today, February 8th, is our 1-year anniversary, all right? Our first episode, the Origins of Yola episode, premiered exactly a year ago today. And who would have thought 365 days later, we'd be saying, this episode is brought to you by Miller Lite.
Let's go.
So right now, I know this sounds insane, but right now you can go to your computer or your phone, type in MillerLite.com/Yola. It's going to bring up a landing page of every place around you that delivers Miller Lite. Or you can go to any single place on earth that sells beer and grab yourself a 12-pack right now. This is Miller Lite. For every can, it's only 96 calories, 3.2 grams of carbs. So let us know in the comments, guys. What does Miller Lite mean to you? To me, like I said, it's camaraderie. It's hanging out with my uncle. It's bonfires. It just reminds me of all the fun times. Before the episode starts, guys, we just want to say a huge shout out to Miller Lite. Thank you for making us the 2022 brand ambassadors. Guys, this is the 1-year anniversary. Did not think we'd be doing this ad read 1 year in. Thank you guys so much for making it possible. Let's start the episode.
Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I am Thomas, Dope as Yola, whatever you want to call me. Welcome back to the Dope as Usual podcast. We're here to talk about life, drugs, problems, accomplishments, and everything in between. I am here with Marty O'Neill.
The fuck is up?
What's going on? Demonetized right off the bat. You motherfucker. It's all good. Guys, today we are here with someone that you've asked for non-fucking stop. I'm just going to start cussing. We're done. Adam22, thank you for being here. Like the golf clap. I like
give
that.
myself a little clap. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thank
Nice
you
to
for
be
being here.
Yeah, I've been seeing it in the comments quite a bit, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming, man.
Yeah.
First, I want to ask you a question because I've been watching No Jumper for like 2017, maybe 16.
Okay.
Right? Nobody ever asks you some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's always the other way around. So where are you from? I have no idea.
I am from a place called Nashua, New Hampshire, also known as Hash Brown Town.
Why?
Well, my boy AD, who I do the podcast with, he's from Compton. He created that nickname because I think it's kind of hard for him to wrap his head around what New Hampshire is. So he calls it Hash Brown Town.
Bro, that is such a small, obscure-ass state.
Yeah.
How fucking shitty was that?
Nobody knows anything about it.
Nothing.
You know, it's just like a kind of like suburban, small city upbringing. You know, it's about 40 minutes outside of Boston. So it's like I kind of always had like the city that I was very much drawn to as a young kid, you know, going to the aquarium as a little kid. And then growing up, all of a sudden I'm 12, 13. I'm like getting my parents to drive me to the train station so I could go ride BMX bikes in Boston and shit like that. But, you know, this is like a nice little downtown type area in Nashua. But really there's like probably like 100 different little cities outside of like Boston in that general 45-minute drive type region. Like a lot of the people who live in Nashua, New Hampshire drive into Boston to work. So it was kind of a very humble, normal American upbringing.
It sounds cool, but boring as shit to be out there just as a kid.
You had to go for it if you wanted to make something happen for sure. Yeah.
So you're doing BMXs. Are you in the forest? I'm imagining some Goonie style.
No, I mean, it's like a small city. So it's like, you know, we had like a pretty decent skate park by the time that I was like 15 or whatever. And like, I mean, there was all kinds of like rails and stairs and colleges and shit. Like, it's not like, it is a small ass place compared to, you know, LA and what we're used to. But it wasn't like that rural. It's not like I lived on a farm. But like if I were to drive 20 minutes in most directions from where I was growing up, you would be more or less at a farm. So
same place I grew up. It's a city surrounded by agriculture.
Right.
Same shit. So as a kid in a boring ass place like that, like just like me, BMXing, were you a good kid until you hit a certain age? Were you always fucking doing something wild?
Always bad. Always in trouble. I was always just like, I got arrested multiple times for like shoplifting and graffiti and
in the small town
fighting, like all kinds of shit. Yeah, I was like really like the worst kid that like fucking in school at a certain point for sure. I would say I was probably like the worst behaved kid, most ridiculous non-diagnosed ADD, just wilding the fuck out. Like I was really, really bad kid. I mean, to put in perspective, because it's like it was a small town, but like our high school was like 2,000 kids.
Oh, you grew up in a town like mine.
Yeah, it was decent size, you know. Yeah, some shit going on.
So you were a bad kid.
I was
Are
bad.
you an only child?
No, I had a younger sister 3 years younger than me.
Oh, okay. So what are your parents doing? Are they fucking pissed?
At that time, yes, they were pretty deeply upset. My parents were like very much like when they talk about their childhoods, they grew up like really poor. Me and my sister grew up with like, you know, a little bit of money in the bank for our college funds and shit like that.
Sick.
My parents they very much believed that if they worked hard and kept their nose down and grinded, that they would be able to make a better life for their kids and stuff. My sister, good kid, like did well in high school, went on, did well in college, got a good job, started a family, etc. With me, I was just really attracted to graffiti, BMX, bad shit, basically. I was like getting in trouble from all the time from a young age. I got into credit card fraud when I was like 19.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was pretty much just doing whatever, man.
So did you go to college?
I did a year at Middlesex Community College, which is just like a local small college like in Massachusetts. And then I went to school where you actually stay at the school for a year at UMass Lowell after that. And then I started making some decent money doing credit card fraud, dipped out, moved to New York City, and shit really started cracking from there more or less.
In terms of what?
Well,
credit card fraud shit?
Cracking cards and doing other stuff. Because I moved out there because I basically had made like $100,000 doing credit card fraud at 19. And then I was just like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm moving to New York. I want to be a BMX filmer. I kind of decided that like this is not good for my mental health to be doing all these purchases under other people's identities and shit. Like I had a homie who got caught. And it just, you know, I was scared. Like,
He went to prison, I'm assuming.
Nah, he really just had to pay like restitution because this is like 2004. So like when they would catch you for doing credit card fraud, they didn't really know what the fuck you were doing. Like I remember when they charged him the restitution for his shit, it was like not even close to the amount of work that he had been putting in that day, even on that card. So at the time, they were so not equipped to prosecute people for this shit.
Fuck, so you moved to LA and you moved to New York
yeah.
and you're you want to be a BMX filmer, so obviously you're still riding BMX heavy.
I was just going out every day, riding bikes, hanging out, because it was like the golden age of BMX in New York City, like 2003. You could go to Union Square, which is like this park right in the middle of Manhattan, and it was like all the skaters and BMX dudes hanging out there, drinking, smoking like all fucking night, and like the pros, like the dudes I was seeing in magazines and shit would be kicking it there too. So this was like heaven on earth to me.
Sick.
So then I fucked my back up like pretty quickly, like just riding and realistically couldn't ride for a couple months. And so I was like, you know, okay, well, I got to figure out something else I'm excited about that I'm going to start trying to put time into. So I started playing online poker, which at the time I was very, very fascinated by. And that led me into basically playing online poker for a living for like 3 years after that. And so then while I'm playing online poker and making a decent living, I also am spending a lot of time looking at all these different message boards and stuff. There was like a BMX forum I would be looking at every day, and it started to like the pieces started to come together in my head because I was also looking at these rap blogs like Now Right, Two Dope Boys, whatever, and like I'm seeing the way that they're sort of archiving all this hip hop content and like making posts out of like, oh, this is the new cover of Double XL. We're gonna post it on this blog and talk about it. You know, the comment section, people going back and forth about it. And I realized like right away, like 2005, I'm like, oh, I could be that for BMX. So then I just started a blog spot, started running this website about BMX, started selling advertising to all the companies and shit. And pretty soon I quit playing online poker because I was doing better just running this website.
So you've been on social media before it was a thing.
Oh, way before that too. I was on AOL in the chat rooms when I was 13 and like 97 and shit.
ASL. Remember that shit?
Were you a heavy hip hop head this whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. I was always into like metal and punk and shit as well, but
nice.
like but hardcore, or excuse me, rap was definitely like my primary interest since I was a little kid. Like the first time I heard Snoop Dogg, I just was geeked. Like this is the coolest shit I ever fucking heard in my life. And so yeah, rap was always kind of like I said, like I started the BMX website because I was such a big rap fan that I'm reading Now Right every day, checking it. Oh, new Lil Wayne song, boom, I'm listening to it. New Chic Luch song, boom, I'm listening to it.
Let's go.
And it started to like click in my head, like, oh, like I could be this, but for BMX bikes.
No shit. That's
Yeah.
fucking tight.
I wish I had figured out at that time that like, oh no, you could have a voice in hip hop too. You just got to
same
take
time.
it. You just got to do it. You know. I waited like 10 years.
That's all right. I did not expect you to say that. You've been doing this shit since before MySpace was even a thing, doing forums and blogs. That's where everybody, there was the only online community was forums and blogs.
Yep.
So how long did you run the BMX for? The BMX page for?
Started it in 2006, moved to Los Angeles, actually Long Beach at the time, in 2010. So, and then continued to run it. At a certain point, I started this other brand, On Some Shit, that we sort of is like the more clothing type brand and everything like that. We make videos under that brand and everything. And I'm living in Long Beach, having a good time, hustling a little bit still. The BMX stuff was never incredible money-wise, you know, so I was having to make some of them peas fly across the country and stuff, you know how that is.
Yeah.
And, you know, but life was all right. And then at a certain point, started to get my money together a little bit more, opened a bike shop in downtown LA called On Some Shit. And
Nice.
Part of my reason when I did that, I was like, you know, I want to be able to put my brand on display, but I also want to be able to use it as, you know, a headquarters to be able to fuck with all the people that I see doing dope things in the culture. Because around that time when I had really been living in LA, or Southern California in general, because of Long Beach for a couple of years, it was like I started to realize like, oh, I can't just be doing bike shit. I have to embrace the culture as a whole. Like I started to like actually realize like, oh, there's no reason why I can't be doing rap content as well. Like there's just nothing, like what's stopping me? Like I have an opinion. I have artists that I think are tight that nobody's trying to interview. So I just started to like, you know, I was doing BMX rider interviews in the back of my my bike shop. I set up a podcast to do that. And then pretty quickly I just started to tap in with all these up and coming SoundCloud rappers and do that kind of shit too.
So that's a crazy transition.
Yeah. Are you,
Yeah,
are
there's
you
a
an
lot of
actual?
pieces to that.
Are you a videographer? Like you get down with the camera?
I guess like I could be a videographer. Like I spent a lot of time filming BMX throughout the years. I was never like the best filmer, but I figured out how to use the camera. And but usually, honestly, even from the beginning, I would always like hire somebody who was a little bit more specialized to basically be the video guy from early on with the bike stuff. And I mean, my early No Jumper interviews, we had a mixer set up and everything so we could record the audio properly. I would literally take my phone and put it on a fucking bike rack, a bike stand that they would use by day to work on bikes. I would take a bike out of it and put my phone in the bike stand and just hit record. And like, there's multiple podcasts from back in the day, like the Ugly God podcast, the video cuts partway through because like a girl tried to call me and I had forgot to put my shit on airplane mode.
Oh, fuck.
So stuff like that used to happen.
Well, you guys were just trying to do something that was relatively fucking new.
Yeah, there wasn't that many people doing video podcasts in particular. I was listening to Combat Jack and Joe Budden and Joe Rogan. Those were my three influences at the time, really, that made me want to do podcasts.
Do you still listen to that? Do you still listen to podcasts even though you podcast so much?
Yeah, sometimes it can get kind of overwhelming because like my personal taste in podcasts on average is more like news, politics, philosophy, like a little bit more high-minded stuff. But then I also like to keep tabs on the $1 million worth of games and the Brilliant Idiots and the Andrew Schultzes, the Flagrant Twos, the fucking all these. I love DJ Vlad's content. I watch his shit every day. I mean, a lot of different shit I watch these days.
You're on the same wave as us.
I always say like I feel like podcasting is going through right now like what hip hop did in the late 80s and the 90s. Like you got your Run DMC, like that might be Rogan and his whole team. And now you kind of have like a new class of podcasts coming in, younger people coming in that have kind of taken heed to what that first generation did. I feel like there's a lot of parallels.
Well, I mean, at first it was like nerds, basically. Like when you look at a me or a Vlad or like, you know, even like a Combat Jack, he was a lawyer. You know, you're looking at people who are like fans, who are kind of ahead of the time on the technology and everything like that. Yeah. But then like the next generation, what I see right now is like the fucking official ass fools, like the big U's, the fucking, you know, T.I. was going crazy with his for a while before his shit got kind of weird. Like Joe Budden, obviously one of the kings of the shit. And, you know, you see like a Nick Cannon getting in there and stuff. It's basically like all the most influential people who really are like the heart of the culture have kind of become podcasters largely. So like it does kind of create like a little bit of a pressure on me as somebody who's kind of like an outsider who was just like really early on this type of content to be like, okay, well, when somebody can choose to go get interviewed by fucking Nori, you know, what makes you stand out? What makes your shit seem like something that they would want to tap in with, you know?
True.
Yeah.
It's because you're like an expert. It's your perspective, your opinion that's valuable to
Hopefully.
recognized,
But when you're comparing yourself to a Nori, it's like, well,
it's
this motherfucker had hit records. You know.
Well, also, yeah, hit records is great. That's great. But this is also an interview style, seeing because when I used to go and watch No Jumper to see what up, because I knew if you're on, you're about to blow up.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason that they saw like, no, bring him on, bring him on. So I used to go on there and see the new artists. What artist is going to be coming up next?
Yeah, it's like an artist might not make a great A&R, and A&R is like a talent. They know, it's a different skill set. Same thing with being a good interviewer.
Yeah, and a lot of like the legendary rappers who do podcasts, they're not great interviewers, but they come with a lot of respect to the situation.
Exactly.
Which is always kind of the tricky thing, you know. Like I feel like with hip hop and interviews, you got to earn your respect because it's like, why the fuck would Young Thug want to sit down with you? You know, he better be looking at you like you're bringing something to the table because if he's gonna not do an interview with a Nori or a Joe Budden or whoever the fuck it is, you know, it's like you gotta fight for your respect, you know.
Hell yeah. Because you don't want to sit there and have to struggle to pull a good interview out if they're sitting there just being a fucking superstar.
Because man, I seen like Larry King interviewing Jay-Z one time, and he's asking the dumbest ass questions that no hip hop fan would ever interview Jay-Z and be like, you know. So I heard you don't, they do say this, but I heard you don't write your lyrics down. Like all the corny shit that they would say to a Jay-Z or whatever. But it's like, if you're Larry King, you get to ask the dumbest questions possible. If you're Joe Rogan, you get to sit down with Snoop Dogg and say, is the East Coast, West Coast beef still a thing? Which he recently did. And I was just like,
Are you serious?
Damn. I'm like, I don't get the privilege of getting to ask a basic ass question like that. People expect me to understand what's going on in the streets, you know.
It'd be fucking hilarious if you did, though.
Right?
Well, my early interviews, sometimes when I go back and watch them, I'm like, oh, wow. I really didn't understand the streets at all. So there was so much shit that I was trying to figure out about LA and how shit really works. And I'll go back and see an interview and I'll be like, oh, damn, you mentioned this rapper to this dude and their hoods want to kill each other. Like, you should have known. You can't mention him to him. But I didn't fucking know back then. So I'm like kind of oblivious to some of the shit that's going on, you know?
I am oblivious too. I'm from Merced. You know where Fresno is? I'm from Merced, like the real shit town right there.
Nice.
Like my car's blue.
Right.
I've never worn a blue shirt till I moved here because I don't want to get shot up.
Yeah.
I don't want to get killed in my own town. So I know like those things, but LA is a whole different machine. There's subsections of, oh wait, blue's okay here, but not fucking 30 yards this way. It's fucking scary.
And you have to remember, like I'll be interviewing a Crip and I'll mention a Blood hood and then think real quick, like have to do the math in my head, like, wait, no, they fuck with them. Like they're cool with those Bloods. They hate all the other Bloods, but they're cool with those Bloods.
You got to stay up to date on these politics.
Extra pressure. Fuck. Getting briefed like a fucking movie. Like, don't say Bloods.
It's not like there's two gangs. There's fucking 500 gangs out there.
Yeah. So you gotta. Nobody expects me to be 100% aware of everything, but I got good people around me that could let me know. You know. Yeah.
At least not say something's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Real quick, before I fucking forget, for the BMX thing, were you trying to pursue that professionally before you hurt your back? Was that something you were all in on?
I always loved the culture of it, but I was never that good at it. You know, like I got hurt a lot, like when I was young, doing stupid ass shit before I even got to the point of, like, I've known people throughout the years who were bold as fuck and would try anything. I never even really got to that point because I'd be fucking hurting myself all the time and shit. And I think when I look at it now, it is kind of weird because most of the people who stick with BMX are the people who are talented. And I was never like the dude riding wise. Like if you ask like real people who know about BMX tricks, they'll be like, Adam invented this trick. He did a bunch of cool shit back in the day. But I was never thinking I was gonna be pro. And plus in Hash Brown Town, there were no pros. I didn't know anyone who was sponsored. Like I knew like one dude who lived like an hour away who got free bikes from a company. I didn't really even understand that there were people getting money for riding and shit like that, you know?
No, I totally get you. When I was a kid, I did I thought I was sick midair, where you turn it almost all the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just watching X Games build. You ever build the ramps off? That shit sucks dick. Building them in the forest off that dirt.
There's people who love that. I know dudes who've been in the woods for 30 years. They spent their whole life digging jumps in the woods. That's their fucking happy place. You know?
I've done it a few times. I gave that up when I found like weed and shit. That's pretty much what happened to me. I was skating and playing fucking sports, and then
but in Southern
weed.
California, you can't be a bike rider or a skateboarder, especially not these days, without realizing like, oh, there's an industry around this, and there's people who are good at it, and maybe you could have a job working for this company. Growing up where I grew up, all that shit was a mystery to me.
It was fucking a world away for you.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The East Coast, he grew up in Buffalo, so he tells me the same shit. It's like, well, I'm in the basement. It's snowing. I'm just playing basketball in my basement for 4 hours, doing nothing.
Riding bikes, bro. I would search for a parking garage that would have like a curb in the parking garage so we could ride it, even though it's like 25 degrees out and it's fucking, you're freezing to death. But like, okay, the snow and the rain aren't going to hit you and you're going to be able to practice doing some 180s and manuals and shit on this curb. Yeah.
I mean, that's growing up, bro. That's the essence of that shit. Getting hurt and realizing, nah, I'll stick with it, or giving up and doing something else.
Yeah.
I was never with that shit. I never did anything that was involved falling and fucking skinning your fucking body up and shit. Skateboarding.
But I always had the other side of my personality too, where I was always on the internet. Always.
Oh, really?
Always. I would ride bikes all fucking day. Like a normal day for me, like summer after, 11th grade or whatever, go out riding at noon, be out riding bikes till like at least midnight. And then.
Damn.
Yeah. Like every day.
All fucking day.
Just ride all day, every day.
In the same town, all day, just chilling with your homies.
I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. There was not shit to ride, but we just were happy as fuck to be out on bikes around the city. Like, I had a decent family life, but I didn't want to be around my fucking parents when I'm in high school and shit. I just wanted to get away. And I always think that that's why I got into BMX as opposed to skateboarding, because BMX was like, boom, I'm on my bike, I'm pedaling 10 miles. I don't know what the fuck is going on at home. My parents are yelling at each other, whatever. I'm gone. I'm out. That was what gave me like freedom for real.
Were you guys doing drugs or no?
No, I was straight edge like my whole childhood pretty much until I was like 21, 22. I smoked weed like one time in high school, and one time I like took a couple shots or some shit, but I was pretty much drug free, because in BMX, like in the magazines and shit, that shit was really thought well of. Like, they really like to be drug free at that time was like a big trend. Like I hate to call it a trend because it's a good thing if you kids want to get into it. By all means, it's a great thing, especially early in your life. I think being drug free is a beautiful thing. But yeah, so I didn't really like think about drinking or anything until I got a little older.
I just got to point something out. You started scamming credit cards before you started smoking weed heavy. That is a fucking bold choice.
Yeah,
that's
what I was wondering.
It's like
when he was saying that.
dabble. I smoked weed, and I shoplifted.
Or I was doing drugs and I had to get money. That's what I was.
The crazy thing about it was that, like, when I think about it, the reason why I was cracking cards at that time was because I met this one Czechoslovakian kid who put me on to what it is to go into a store with a fake credit card, do a purchase, how you buy the credit card account, how you get the blank credit card that you're going to put that account onto, etc. Just because I met that one dude who told me, like, you can make $5,000 tomorrow if you come to the mall with me and do these purchases with me. And I was like, bet, let's do it. And like, I was interviewing this one dude, this dude 23-1. He's like a prison YouTuber and shit. And he was talking about like his life story. He's like, yeah, I was a pretty normal kid, this and that. And then I turned 16 and somebody gave me a gun and told me about strong arm robbery. And that he just, that just turned him out. And all of a sudden he's like, shit, I'm getting money by putting a gun in people's faces and shit, and you could just be a little boy until you get the wrong influence around you who's just like, this is how it goes in the real world.
Same. That's what happened to me, man. I was fucking the Tampa Bay Raiders Super Bowl. The night before that, I smoked weed for the first time. And everything I was a 4.0 student until that day.
Wow.
And it all changed. I started selling weed to packs and boxes, and then here we are.
It turned out pretty good for you compared to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, man. A lot of my homies, old friends live outside.
We just had Dr. Drew in here. He was fucking astounded once he started understanding his backstory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Merced. It's a lot of meth and shit like that. But while we're on the topic, on some shit, do you still do the BMX clothing line for that, just BMX stuff?
Yeah, well, it's kind of just like a brand that we've just been doing. My goal with it, at least like in the past, my goal has changed over and over throughout the years, but my goal with it now is just to have it be a clothing brand that people fuck with, that people look at in more of like, a hipster fucking streetwear sense that, is rooted in BMX culture, because I feel like BMX has an amazing culture and there's just been so much dope shit throughout the years. But, it doesn't really get like viewed that way or celebrated the way like, everybody loves Supreme and everybody understands, even if they're not really like tapped in, that Supreme is a really dope streetwear skate brand, and like, that they're celebrating the culture surrounding it. So with On Some Shit, I try to create moments that like are just, exposing the greater world culture to like what BMX as a culture is like. And like we just did a jam under this bridge off Rosecrans where we just had all these crazy ass rails set up. We had Crip Mac come out and announce this shit.
Oh, I saw this. I saw this.
And it was like, bro, people were pulling up, all the fucking gangsters from that area pulling up, people just chilling, smoking, everybody riding. Crazy ass video on our YouTube channel from it. And just like that, a lot of like No Jumpers audience and shit, they never knew that BMX was this fucking amazing culture. And we just, that's my goal, is just put that out in front of people's eyes. Like I just can't get away from it. Like I've really kind of like pulled back on BMX over the years at times, and I just always get pulled back because I just love the fucking culture of it.
And it's something positive, man. You just brought how many people together, and nobody's sitting here fighting and doing crazy shit. They're just riding and hanging out.
No gangster shit, no weird
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
Just
That's
everybody
cool.
showing love. You got fucking trans people riding bikes. You got fucking rollerbladers, soap shoers, skateboarders. Everybody just having a good time. Gangbangers. It's all good.
Damn.
Yeah, that
beautiful
sounds
thing,
perfect, man.
Never really considered that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw the video. It looks like some 90s. It looks like remember Ninja Turtles when they walk into the putty Foot Clan? It's like, you want cigarettes or you want menthols? It's like, and everybody's just chilling, having fun. That's what it looked like, except all adults and shit.
Yeah. A lot of people watching that video are like commenting like, bro, I didn't even know this shit still happened like this. I didn't know that BMX still had this cool ass culture. Like I thought this shit died with the X Games or whatever. So it's like that's always been BMX's problem. Like skateboarding,
It just overtakes everything.
skateboarding had Jackass. They had Tony Hawk video games. They had Tony Hawk the person. They had fucking
The person.
I'm just saying, like they had Ryan Sheckler. They had fucking Rob Deerdeck. They had all this amazing shit. Jackass, all that
There's
shit.
no
like
BMX movies.
as part of the culture, yeah. But like BMX is amazing in its own right. But like there was Rad back in the day, which really that's like the BMX movie from like the 80s and shit. But the culture just hasn't really been put on blast, and there's been a lot of bad luck within BMX. And to be honest, I'm probably like the most well-known person to have come from I'm not comparing myself to a Dave Mirra or whatever, but in this modern age, it's like I don't know any BMX rider who has as many followers as me or whatever. So it's like I kind of see it as like a personal responsibility that I'm trying to get more and more serious about, is like how do we really put BMX on display to the biggest audience that we can.
That's sick. Randomly, last episode I was talking about one of my best homies, OG. He's a dyno collector. He has so fucking many old school
That's a whole world.
It's too much. He has a storage for these. So yeah, the culture's, he's like, I'm just waiting for it to come back. That's what he always says. I'm waiting for it to come back and so I can ride and shit.
See, I never collected the shit at all. Like all that shit is kind of before my time, like the 80s and the 90s bikes, because I started in
he's
like
older.
97.
He's older. Yeah.
But yeah, that shit, that's a whole world right there.
Well, dude, you're right. There is no culture. We had fucking Tony Hawk the game, and that overtook everything. Bart Simpson skated. That's why I picked up a skateboard, because of fucking Bart. That's why. Yeah, there's no bike influence. I can't think of anything.
I mean, Matt Hoffman and Dave Mirra, like I think most people recognize those names. Matt Hoffman hasn't been riding that crazy for however many years. He's a cool spokesperson, but I mean, Tony Hawk, bro. Like Tony Hawk is
Tony
like
Hawk.
the dude. Like he still can go on anybody's podcast and just preach the fucking gospel of skateboarding to this day. It's a beautiful thing. So I mean, yeah, I just really want to like spread the shit as many people as possible. As long, I come from BMX. Like I'm a massive hip hop fan, but I just like don't like the idea of sort of letting people forget about BMX. I want to put that shit in front of people's faces.
It's good, man. It's a positive thing too. Well, speaking of the hip hop, you said you were a hip hop head as a kid, and that got you to make the forum. I read something saying you used to be involved with a record company. What did you do with that? Or a record executive. What did this say?
So, okay, when No Jumper really started popping off in like 2017 or whatever, I signed a deal with a subsidy of Atlantic Records called APG, and basically like we were supposed to like do a label and everything with it was going to be like we signed artists and we fucking put out singles and everything like that. And it was all right, but they ultimately just kind of, it only lasted like a year. It didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really turn into what we wanted it to be. When I look back at it now, I'm like, holy fuck. Because the money that they gave me to fucking sign at that time, I mean, it was the most money that I had ever gotten at that time. It's like $200,000 or something. And I was pretty hyped.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Fuck
mean,
yeah.
I ain't signing no goddamn record deal for $200,000 now. So I mean, it's like, in retrospect, it's like it was a cool idea, but yeah, I never had my heart in it.
That's all you had to say, bro. If it's like if you're not fully into it, then it's not meant to be, and you can't put your energy. You have to delegate shit, and you can't delegate like the project.
Yeah, building this company has been like, you know, my life's work. Sounds kind of weird, but like, you know, that's what I've been doing all these years, and just, you know, really assembling a team and like doing interviews is just part of that at this point. And like the team that we've built just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's kind of crazy. Like I just bought this fucking $5 million office building in the valley.
Office?
It's for us to just build out a fucking whole compound of just creating content.
Good shit.
And we're getting a store, I believe, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we're getting approved right now to have a store on Fairfax and shit. Just basically being able to put the culture of like, you know, hip hop and BMX and all these things I'm a part of and just put it on display for the world, you know?
Yeah, it's bigger than a podcast at this point, man.
Is that going to be like some Fantasy Factory type shit? I could see it going that route if it's like...
We haven't thought about doing ramps and stuff. It is big as fuck, but it's like, you know, I think it's mostly going to be like podcast, live stream, music recording / office space, basically just, you know, be just a really dope spot for everybody who works there to be able to sort of, you know, we're all like working right now. Like, I mean, when I think about like when I was doing the podcast in the back of the store on Melrose after the store downtown, I mean, you're just like 10 people just like working on shit every day, standing around in the back of this fucking bike shop. Like it was just nowhere to sit and shit. The spot we're in now is a little bigger, but it still ain't that big. You know, it's like fucking, it's still kind of scrappy when you think about it. So, I mean, hey, like it's just, you know, levels. Keep moving up.
That's great though. That's where we are. It's just me and him right now. So that's the goal of this year is building out because we're doing everything. You know what I mean? It's so fucking much to edit and post and clips and YouTube and everything. And it
comes a point where you have to build it out in order to keep growing things.
Yeah, I mean, like just the fact that I don't even like I do a podcast. I pick they send me timestamps. I pick the clips and the titles. That's pretty much it. Like I don't do anything else. And the fact that I wouldn't be able to pump out such a ridiculous number of interviews if I was actually having to be involved with the back end. You know? It's nice having a team who can do all the chopping and the cutting for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many episodes do you guys put out a week?
So there's 3 or 4 weekly podcasts. Well, no. So there's the No Jumper Show is Tuesday at 6 live. Then
live,
like
live
we do 2 hours on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Me, AD, and House Phone, and then Wednesday at 6 p.m. is AD, T-Rel, and Duno. They do their show for 2 hours, and then Thursday, House Phone. This dude Blasi, who's like a clothing designer, homie of ours, and then he also has our friend Yuri. They do 2 hours on Thursday night. But then myself throughout the week, I also like this week I'm doing like 7 or 8 interviews with different artists. So I just be cranking them shits out.
Holy shit, man. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to fucking export and do this and that. You can't. Yeah. You have to just be. You're the
fact that I still like pick the titles and the stamp.
Shocking a little
that's
bit,
like a lot of. You know, I'm doing 3 interviews and then I'm coming home and sitting on the computer for an hour picking out the stamps. But I mean, I used to come home and put the file in Final Cut, airdrop it to the laptop, fucking sync up the audio to the fucking video because back in the day it used to get all out of sync all the time.
That's what happened in our first episode, man. Yeah. Good. I'm fucking happy to hear this, man. You're putting fucking work into this.
I don't think about any of that shit. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
So when you say go live, are you guys just like live on YouTube like Rogan used to be?
On YouTube, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. There's something about that makes it a little bit. I miss when Rogan used to be live on YouTube, but something about actually watching it live that makes it a little bit like it just hits different.
Yeah, definitely. I love doing the live stuff. It's not really ideal for YouTube because and also I didn't mention that. We also have the homie Sharp, who's like a legend from Vegas, and he has
that for Soft White Underbelly.
Yeah, he has a consistent podcast on the network as well.
No shit.
But it's a little different because he'll like record a couple episodes at once. He'll fly out and film 6 episodes in the course of a couple days, and then we'll drop it over the course of the month, you know, because he lives in Vegas. So,
no shit. He has a show. It's the pimp, right?
Well, it's been said.
It's been said. I saw the Soft White Underbelly. There has to be the same person, Sharp.
I met him through that, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Well, the fans were saying they wanted me to interview him, and then the dude Mark from Soft White Underbelly reached out to me, and he said, this fool is down to be on your podcast. And I said, okay, let's do it. Got like 1 million views. I just ended up tapping in with him and saying, bro, this is what we're doing. We're building the Avengers right now. We got a whole gang going right here, bro. We want you to be a part of it. He was fucking with it, and he's doing, we just help line him up with different women to argue with, and he'd be talking to like all kinds of old school comedians and shit. He does a lot of really dope shit, and like when I look at it, like, you know, we're about to start doing live shows, and like, you know, in front of an audience and stuff, and it's like, bro, we have like 7, 8 people, like, and that's just like people who are on camera like every week. That's not even like, there's a lot of other people who are on camera like in the vlogs or on the music stream, like my man Kiki over there and shit, and like, you know, and I seen it like when I was at that jam I was just telling you about, like, you know, people coming out of the woodwork telling him that they fucking love him, like not even talking to me, they watch him on the stream. And, you know, that's just making me realize, like, holy fuck, like a lot of these dudes really are getting their own fan bases and building their own platforms, and like, I don't know, it's just like, I'm just very excited about all that.
That's fucking incredible, man. Now, it's the Avengers. You have a variety show. That live tour is going to be tight as fuck.
Yeah, well, it's just going to be one show to start. The idea of us doing a tour is this whole other thing. I was saying that, we were talking about it, and I'm also like, well, how the fuck are we going to make any of the normal content we do for the online audience if we were going around the country touring?
Fake set,
you know,
in the bus.
You have to put out the what you're doing live as episodes, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an idea.
Yo, that's incredible, man. That's awesome. That's why you got the big ass warehouse. Now I see.
Yeah, we got a lot of moving parts, but also just to be able to have the recording studio right there, so a motherfucker could just pop in. Like that's a big thing I want to do. I want to have a Spotify album that's like consistently coming out, where we're just having artists come in, like when they do their interview, they record a fucking couple songs or whatever. If we fuck with one of them, we put it on the Spotify playlist. So it's like the theme of the playlist is just, these are all songs that were recorded in the same place, and No Jumper streamed it or vlogged it or had the content like on our channel.
Smart.
That's one thing I'm excited.
Did you come up with that?
That
idea?
This is a brainstorm.
So that's great.
We'll see how it works.
That's how DJ Ski used to have his shit. He'd have his radio station on the one level, and beneath it was just straight recording studios.
Sick. Yeah, Marty comes from the hip hop world of the East Coast and shit, so that's why he's always. I can hear him. Yep, let's go. I can hear when you're saying certain names. I can hear you getting hyped to the mic.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. So the way I was looking at it is, you're saying it's kind of my life's work, right? So you're sitting there at 19 or 20 doing this BMX thing, thinking I'm such a hip hop head, I can do this. The way I look at it, like, you know, as a fan, I mean, No Jumper, I've been watching since I moved to LA. I see it as like the gateway for artists to kind of launch a career. When you guys were first started, that was the first time I heard of most 90% of the people on there. And then within a month or two, they have full on careers. It was like the SoundCloud hub of like, no, if you're gonna be big, you have to be on No Jumper first.
Those are the glory days, because there were just like so few options for podcasts, you know, like when 6ix9ine was fucking riding my dick and asking me for an interview every other day and shit. It was like he needed me to interview him, because who the fuck else was gonna interview him? Nowadays, there's so many goddamn people doing podcasts and shit that it's like he wouldn't have needed to be sweating me so hard, even though No Jumper was like the place for that at the time. But like the fact that he didn't really have a lot of options, you know, it was easy for us to kind of like be that. And so like I very much still try to like stay on top of interviewing the up and coming artists and everything like that. I'm trying to just like find more and more on camera talent. So like, you know, that would be the real dream, was to find somebody who I saw as like really being capable of interviewing the talent, that I would be confident in them doing the interviews. That would be the ultimate craziness, because then I wouldn't even have to be on camera doing it, even though I do love that.
That's your thing, to like get somebody good enough to where you can just take the reins.
Well, now I have, you know, T-Rel and AD. They've been doing some interviews and stuff, and I'm listening to the shit. I'm like, this shit is dope as fuck. Like that's all of a sudden I have other people who can interview people on the channel for me. That's like, you know, kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. You can do what you want then at that point.
Yeah.
Damn, you just delegated your job. That's fucking awesome.
Well, it just makes it so we can make more content.
You can't be everywhere at once, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't, honestly, for the you export and doing all your shit, that was I'm so happy to hear that, man.
It took years to get it all.
We go through so much shit. He was fucking freaking out over a fucking export right before you got
fucking
here.
losing. My program lost my whole fucking morning of editing. I was fucking heated about an hour before you guys got here. Hey, what's up, guys? Just taking a moment here to talk about one of our sponsors. This is FanDuel. This is Super Bowl season, guys. It's coming. It's close. Pro Bowl just passed. This is the time. For everyone out there that's already into online gambling, and if you're not, do me a favor. Right now, go to the App Store, download FanDuel Sportsbook. When you use our code DOPEASUSUAL, you're automatically qualified for this. You bet $5, you can win $280. That's pretty good odds. Yes, $5 can win you $280. It doesn't matter which team you pick. It's a 50-50 chance. It's $5. And right now, guys, this little disclaimer popped up right here. You have to be in a legal state. This is an actual gambling site. So all the states are listed. Make sure you're in a legal state and you have to be at least 21. This is a real gambling site. If you already have this app and you have your friend download it and they place a $5 bet, doesn't matter. You get $50 just for having them referred, and your friend gets $50 just for placing a bet. For Super Bowl 56, guys, there is no better place, no better odds than FanDuel Sportsbook. So the biggest question we got to ask today, guys, who are you going for in the Super Bowl? I know I'm in LA. I should be voting for the Rams. I get that. I also would love to see the Bengals win. They've never won since I've been alive. So FanDuel Sportsbook app, download that, use code DOPEASUSUAL. Who do you think is going to win? Who are you putting your money on? What's up, guys? Taking another moment here to talk about one of our longtime sponsors. This is Onnit. Before we start, you already know, Onnit.com, ONNIT.com/Yola. That gets you 10% off of everything on the site except for the weights. Every single thing that can make you a physical specimen inside and out, Onnit offers. And starting with the most important part, your brain. One of the biggest products they offer is Alpha Brain. It's essentially a daily vitamin that helps you with cognitive thinking, focus, just being clear-headed. That's been out for a long time. But introducing Alpha Brain shots. They have it in just little shots, easy to do, right when you wake up, chug them. Tropical, peach. They're coming out with more flavors also. And not just for being buff. They have other things. Shroom Tech, New Mood for actual mood enhancement. They have the gut health. They have Viratech. And Viratech, that is basically an immune booster. You guys, it's not all about just being rocked out and looking cool. It's about being actually healthy. How do you feel on the inside as well as out? If any of this interests you at all, guys, right now, go to www.onnit.com, ONNIT.com/Yola. As I said before, 10% off of every single thing I just talked about, except for the weights. Quick question. If you can interview your top 2 people, who would they be? If no music, no regulation, nothing, no restrictions, anybody in the world that you want to sit down, have a conversation with, who would they be, top 2?
Whoa. I would really, really like to interview Babyface Ray right now. Put that out there into the world because
Babyface Ray
from Detroit. He's one of the top dudes from Detroit right now. He hasn't really done an interview, and he's smart on his part to maintain his mystique. But he's definitely an artist that I would love to get on the podcast right now. I was really dying to interview K Flock, but then he got picked up for a murder, so I don't know about that.
Shit.
Yeah, and I don't know, man, because it's like, I would like to interview a Drake or a, insert mega celebrity here. That shit's always fun, but at the same time, that's not really like my thing. My thing is like, I want to interview the kid from fucking Baton Rouge or Florida or Chicago or whatever who's just starting to catch steam, and the whole world is dying to know about who this dude is, because I've that's just how I've made like the biggest impact with my content throughout the years. I was just showing Kiki on my fucking YouTube analytics that the XXXTentacion interview, rest in peace, still in the last month it's averaged 10,000 views a day. I put that shit out in 2016.
Damn.
So it's like, I'm making like X amount of dollars still off that interview, but it's not even about that. But it got like 3 million views or some shit in the last year. It's been out for that long. Like
shit.
that.
Is that your biggest one?
I think that's the biggest one. Like I don't even know if there's a rap interview that has gotten more views than that, because it's at like 12 million or some shit. Like there might be, but I think it might be like the biggest rap interview ever, or at least close. So
fuck yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
That's awesome, man. So you said basically blank big celebrity. That's cool. I was just thinking maybe there was some kid from your child, somebody from your child. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking the other day, it'd be fun to interview Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
It'd be so amazing.
It would be
As a
cool.
kid.
But okay, this is the thing. When I interview a fucking young up and coming rapper and he does his first interview and he's like, he or her is in
Oh shit.
Whoa.
The fucking mic just popped off? God damn.
My bad, man.
Good as
Freeway
new.
Rick Ross. Freeway Rick Ross. That's the only time something's ever happened. I was talking to this guy, and he said something funny as fuck. I laughed. Somehow smacked myself in the face. My headphones flew off my head.
Wow.
Mid-sentence. That shit was tight. All right, I'm just going to leave this bitch alone. All right. Sorry.
All right, we're good.
We're back? My bad. I don't remember what sentence you left off on now. My bad.
It was something about just how when you're interviewing a young guy for the first time, a young artist for the first time, you know, really getting that first conversation out of them or like laying that blueprint for their career. I don't know. There's something about that I kind of consider like the integral part of No Jumper, which is kind of different because like, you know, interviewing Jerry Springer would be sick, but it's like, is there any question that Jerry Springer hasn't been asked? You know, like you're really like
totally get what
you're
you
just
mean now.
covering ground that's already been covered for the most part. Now, I would if I was going to interview Jerry Springer, like anytime like it's someone who's done a shitload of media over the years, like another person I thought about naming is it would be cool to interview Joe Rogan, just because that was kind of like the person who like influenced me the most in terms of my style or what I thought a podcast was in the early days, you know. But I mean, if I would just feel such pressure in interviewing Joe Rogan that I would have to like really like scrape the catacombs of my brain to think about what I want to ask him because he's so, I mean, he just has had more podcast experience than almost anybody. Yep. So, you know, sometimes I do podcasts with people who will like claim to be like, you know, the biggest fucking fan in the world. And then it's like, they're kind of asking me like super basic ass questions, you know, and it's like, you know, it's just like that. Like a lot of people do that. I take a lot of pride. I overthink the shit so much that it's like when it comes to interviewing somebody who I really like know and respect, etc., it's like
pressure's on.
I end up kind of like overthinking it sometimes. Yeah.
Totally understand that, man.
And sometimes that's not what the fans really want from you too. We've noticed that like we'll be super fucking excited and then it won't really hit like we thought it would. But then, you know, like our biggest episodes are YouTubers compared to like, you know, the big celebrities we've
But a lot
had.
of times those are people who don't really have other good interviews, you know, like
I totally see what the fuck you're saying.
sure.
now.
a lot of
love that.
YouTubers are kind of like under interviewed, you know, like when I have a lot of my biggest interviews are YouTubers for sure. Yeah.
No shit.
Just because I think a lot of the fans really want to know those people. And a lot of times they, you know, like there are a lot of opportunities now. I mean, like there's been many times where it's come time for me to interview a YouTuber and I realized that they already had like a Logan Paul interview with like 3 million views from a couple years earlier, you know, just because there are a lot of people doing this shit these days, you know?
No, I get it. I like that perspective. I see what you're saying. What hasn't Jerry Springer been asked?
Yeah.
Totally understand. But I think it's the little like 12-year-old in me going, sick, that was tight. But I get what you're saying, getting the first reaction because that's their introduction to the world besides just their music. So
That's
I see
interesting
what you're saying.
that he's like, that's what I really, that's like the vetting. That's what I'm looking for. Like we're constantly looking for guests that not only do we want to interview that, but the fans are going to be into.
Yeah.
So it's like, they got to pass through. You're looking for a real specific type of interview. That's got to be fucking tough.
That's kind of like ideal, but it's like, you know, I interview all kinds of different people in general just because I like Combat Jack was one of the dudes who kind of like helped usher me into the game early on. And I remember him telling me like, don't do so many interviews. Like just space it out. Like do one a week. And I remember just thinking like, no, I can't do it. Like I got so much respect for you, but I cannot do it. Like there's no way that I'm going to be able to tame my brain enough to only do one fucking interview per week, especially when like I've done so many interviews. I remember I interviewed a Pokemon Go YouTuber.
Oh shit!
And got 200,000-300,000 views, and it was like probably 95% of my audience didn't watch it, but like other people went and watched it, and like I thought it was tight as fuck. I interviewed a Minecraft YouTuber who had 10 million subscribers. Or some shit.
Do you use most interviews you film, or do you like pick and choose after?
We use everything. Yeah,
everything.
Damn.
Almost never do we not use one. Yeah, that's something we film.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of you guys are pumping out a lot of shit, and it's so hit or
drop
miss.
One a day, Monday through Friday, plus all the other shit on the channel.
You guys are fucking killing it. That's so much content, man.
That's fun.
That's all. It's fun. No, that's a job, man. That's jobs on jobs.
Yeah.
And plus, there's another question. You're recently a new dad, relatively brand new. How has that changed workload?
It just makes me want to like use my time more intelligently. Like, you know, for years at the shop on Melrose, I would be like, you know, I would get in there at noon, hanging out, kicking it with the guys, talking, smoking, doing interviews, boom, bow, like just going back and forth, doing content, vlogging shit, putting shit on my story. I'll probably like leave and go home at like midnight, you know, and like go to sleep maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning and like barely see my girl. But I was just like grinding. Like I had like financial goals in my head that I was just really trying to get to. And so I would just be in there going on live for 6, 7, 8 hours all at night, all the fucking time, you know, and like just grinding. And like now I got a kid and it's like a lot of times like Saturday and Sunday, I'll just be like, yeah, you know, I'm not doing shit. I'm just going to kick it with you and the baby and we'll just hang out. And so it's like, you know, I realized like partway through after like she was a couple months old, I started to realize like, no, you really got to like slow the fuck down because this kid is like going to be a fucking grown up before you know it. And you're going to miss it if you don't slow down. And it's like, yes, getting to the money is important. And, you know, you're doing her a favor in many ways with that because obviously a lot of that's going to benefit her. But, you know, it's just I'm not like doing myself justice if I just, you know, kick it like at the office all fucking night and never like take time off to just be around the kid, you know?
And be really present when you are around her and like not thinking of having your mind. I got 3 kids. It took me fucking forever to get that shit down.
Yeah.
Still working on it.
Yeah. That's a fact.
It's good
not
to hear
working
though,
weekends, but you have to. It's the only way to go.
Yeah, because I can finally like it's a weird thing. Is like if I never like really got to the money to the point that I have, then I probably would have like spent my whole life just hustling, trying to get there. You know, thinking like, oh, if I have this much money in the bank, then I'll be good. You know, but it's like because I actually like have gotten there. It's like the same thing with like, you know, I fucked like fucking 500 girls or some shit.
Jesus
it's like,
Christ.
So it's like, you know, but I remember being young and being horny as fuck and just thinking that it would be the sickest thing in the world to have threesomes and foursomes and all this crazy shit. And like, now I did it and I fucked like every porn star in the world and shit. And it's just, I'm glad that I did it because I know that it don't really matter that much, you know? That's the only reason to do anything. Just so that it won't seem like that big a deal, you know?
I think 14-year-old you would high five the shit out of you for nonchalant. Like, I mean, there's only so many porn stars you could bang.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. I love that you brought that up. That was hilarious.
Milestones. Yeah.
Yeah, the milestones. And now you realize, like, no, the time is more important than anything. Because you can't buy that.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with that. You can't.
I mean, you can be a dad and you could go have some fucking orgy fun at night, and that's just fun. But definitely you got to make dad time for sure.
It's good to hear, man.
Well, that was so inspirational in a weird kind of way.
I know what you're saying. Like, nah, for my kid, man.
Yeah.
I'll do orgies at night. That was fucking amazing. That's the episode. That's the name of the episode. Humble motivational orgies.
Yeah.
Marty, what are we at?
52.
All right.
Yeah.
We're getting close. How many? Do you do interviews often? I've only seen one other interview. I think I've seen with you.
Oh, what? Like people interviewing me? Yeah, here and there. You know, if people ask, usually. Well, I mean, if they have like a good size platform, I'm usually down. I hate it when people ask me and they got like 10 plays. I'm like, you know, I would appreciate if you would like, you know, get your feet wet with some other people first, maybe.
No, I totally understand that.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, like I said, we wanted to have you here. Such a fan. Fans ask for it every fucking day. We're like, yeah, dude, we'll fucking get there eventually. Like you said, we didn't want to go hitting up people like, by the way, I have a huge platform over here. Just started interviewing people. Come on my show.
right.
Like we wanted to, you know, I want to be, I'm a perfectionist and I'm still trying to think of, hey, motherfucker, you already asked that, you high ass, you know what I mean? When we're looking at edits, it's like, there's something there that you have to perfect before you go on stage type of thing. You don't
How do you really like get eyeballs on your shit from your perspective? Like what's been the thing that's allowed you to grow and get a fan base?
Well, I've been doing the weed shit for, it's going to be a decade this year, right? So I've been doing that. Like I told you, I've been deleted so many times. I'd probably be at like 3 or 4 million.
You got to really qualify it better than that, though. If you haven't watched the Dope as Yola shit, it's not just like weed shit. The shit is cinematically done.
Oh, yeah, we do wild shit. This fool edits my stuff. I don't say it often. It's the best weed shit on the planet. I want to see somebody else like do it so I can be like, fuck yeah, he did some dope shit. Let me go do some more dope. There's nothing else there that
I gotta see more of it.
You got to see a couple videos, man.
Okay.
And it's the story times though. The story time is
The story times is what made my channel so big. So basically, I used to sell a lot of packs when I was a kid. I have a super photograph. Man, I remember everything about my fucking life. So I'll be sitting there telling stories, and it's got like 60, 70 million views on my stories. Just me talking, smoking a joint.
Holy shit.
And that's how my YouTube got big. And then I said, fuck it, dude. People were sitting here in my lives, thousands of people for 2 hours. Let's do a podcast.
Right.
And Marty's been working with, Rogan and fucking Adam Kroll and Theo for a decade. So he came at me like, yo, if you ever want to do podcasts, let me know. And then we worked on some shit first, got it started last year. And that's how we got the fan base. That's why our fan base is, everyone's so fucking cool. Everyone's the same like-minded person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody's just a positive person, wanted to smoke. Oh, okay, cool. We're hanging out, watching. And now it's like, a lot of people don't have people to hang out with. They watch your show like, fuck yeah, I'm going to sit smoke bowls by myself. I'm going to do my homework, watch the fucking No Joker podcast.
It's like
a
Rogan
friend.
was for our generation, like you were saying. We're trying to be that for that 18 to 24 now.
Yeah.
Just trying, tell people our mistakes, financial shit that we fucked up on. I used to sell packs. You should probably stop. My friends are in prison right now doing certain things. Don't do this while shipping packs. That's probably why we're so demonetized. Honestly.
Growing up with wild ass parents and shit like
Yeah,
that.
like my mom was married to a fucking, oddly enough, a fucking white supremacist. You go to the fucking prisons every weekend to visit his ass. And
Your mom is married to a white supremacist
she was.
Oh, she was.
She was.
in prison at the time. Wow, she's got low standards.
no, she met him out.
Oh.
And my mom's also a fucking jerk. And she didn't give a shit. And my mom's Jewish. And he was a straight, it was a big ordeal. But I grew up with that. I don't speak Spanish in the Mexican town.
You don't speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. Maybe my whole family does because my mom raised me.
Okay.
And
There's a big stigma around that, huh?
oh yeah, I get like the spit looks when I go to Mexico. It was,
Really?
It was
Because you
bad.
can't.
They're like, what's up? And speaking in Spanish, I'm like, oh, nah, sorry, bro.
You can't like pick up on it a little bit because like I've like
I know when people talking shit. I know when they're asking somewhere. If I know somewhere and I'm trying to get somewhere, I can't have a conversation with my grandma's fucking sister.
it's just crazy because like I spent a month straight in Barcelona. I've been spent plenty of time in Mexico and shit. I did a couple years of Spanish when I was like 13 in school. I don't know shit, like terrible, like
Means nothing. Yeah, I know.
I don't know shit.
I know.
Hella Mexican friends that speak Spanish. Well, I don't know. They don't really speak Spanish around me, I guess. But like, I don't know. It just feels like in Southern California, I'm around Spanish all the fucking time. My fucking housekeeper is Spanish. She don't really speak the best English, but I still just nothing.
Can't pick up on it.
just-
If someone sat me down and we just learned every day, I think I'd go back to school, like in my house.
Yeah.
I could pick
Well, how
up.
about
on
every kid I ever went to school with fucking took 7 years of Spanish and can't speak a fucking word of it?
Yeah. 2-3 years of this shit. I don't remember none.
it. Yeah, I don't know shit. I'll learn. I'm sorry.
But whenever, like when I stayed in Barcelona for that month, I started to like pick up on shit, and all of a sudden I'm thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna download the fucking Rosetta Stone, and I'm gonna fucking do this shit. I'm gonna actually learn this shit as soon as I get home. Nope, boop, back in my American bubble. No, I don't care about anybody. I ain't learning nothing.
Damn, that's how I am. Fuck. I'm already out of school. Why do I got to sit here and learn shit? I learned programming just so I could edit. That's enough for me for now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get to it. But before we get out of here, let me ask you one more thing. It's something we do called Who Were You in the 90s? So basically, you got to put yourself in your perspective of you in the 90s. Not right now, the things you've learned, like I would have made a mistake. Who were you in the 90s? I'll ask you two things. Just pick from that.
Okay.
All right. VH1 or MTV?
MTV.
All fucking day.
That's the easy one.
I was a kid, you know. VH1 was adult contemporary.
Yeah, it was boring as shit in interviews about drugs and shit.
Michael Bolton, Kenny G,
Yeah, it was boring as
shit
shit.
like that I knew I didn't think was that tight. Yeah.
I think one person has picked VH1 in one episode.
Yeah, it
randomly.
was fucking
was
Brian
it?
Callen because he was.
Oh, it was Brian Callen. He did pick VH1. Fuck. All right. Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey.
Adam Sandler. Because
shit.
I'm from Nashua, New Hampshire, aka Hash Brown Town. I'm trying to make that stick. And Adam Sandler is from Manchester, New Hampshire, which is literally like a 20-minute, 15-minute drive up on
shit.
the highway. It's like the next city right next to where I grew up. So growing up, like a lot of the teachers in my school and shit would have stories about like, oh, I taught Adam Sandler because he wasn't that old. Like when I'm in high school and shit. Now he's a fucking old man. But like, yeah, so he was always kind of like the the local New Hampshire legend
Sick,
that like
man.
some people know, because there's so few like successful people or famous people that come from where I'm from. So it's like anybody who's from there, it really kind of stands out. Triple H, the wrestler.
Good shit. I just brought him up last episode too. What the fuck?
Wait, you had him on?
No, I just brought him up last episode.
Yeah, he's from where I'm from allegedly, and then Mandy Moore allegedly is from there, but I don't think like lived there for very long.
Damn, man, that's fucking awesome. Adam Sandler's my favorite.
I'm probably
person.
never going back realistically. So I mean,
That's fine. You still got your family out there?
nah, they moved out here.
Oh, then yeah, there's no point.
What am I going back for?
Yeah, there's no point.
Hit the
Succeeds in
IHOP?
trees and shit. Yeah,
I got an IHOP in K-Town. I'm gonna
yeah,
go there.
I got you. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac. Just had a better relationship with his catalog earlier. Biggie, I always say this, is like, I don't want to sound like a hater or whatever, but Biggie had like an album and then he died and then they put out another album. And they're both classic albums. But that's like a pretty small catalog in comparison. And I get why Biggie's such a big deal. Tupac, to me, I saw up close and personal because I watched his whole career, like every album pretty much, and like, you know, I just loved his catalog and his growth and seeing everything that happened with him. To me, he's like, you know, I've just read a lot of like analysis of him as a poet and stuff, and I don't know. To me, he's the artist with more depth, even though I love Biggie.
Great explanation.
Yeah, I feel everybody says Biggie, but I feel the same way. Like Tupac had an energy that was just unmatched. That you just was like
More well-rounded
timeless.
for sure. But I was listening to fucking Ready to Die this morning in the shower. No lie. This is the easiest one for me. Step by Step or Family Matters?
Yeah, Family Matters. Yeah,
Oh, that's the hesitation. I never saw one.
right.
No shit. You fuck with Step by Step like that?
I fuck with it too, though.
It was cool. It was cool by Urkel. And
I fuck with it, but yeah, like I mean, like it's underrated the fact that like when I was, I don't know, like 7 or 8 or some shit, that like Urkel was the funniest fucking thing in the world, the biggest meme. Every kid loved it. Every kid, did I do that?
Yeah.
You know,
He was
and
the first meme.
it was
memes.
such a viral thing at that time. He was so beloved. Like I don't know if you could really compare
was there
anything
watching
to,
the
to
shit.
fucking with Step by Step to that. That was
That should be
fucking-
Full House. We got to switch that to Full
I
House.
had
We
I had
should.
the Urkel doll as a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
and
the fucking
shit.
hard plastic head.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, my sister has that.
Stefan Urkel.
That's the name of my pipe out there. His name's
Really?
Stefan Urkel. I met him at a party. I'm like, yo, my pipe's name's Stefan Urkel. He laughed, made my whole fucking night.
Although, like in retrospect, maybe, you know, like they have the phrase like jumping the shark, you know, when like, you know, a show kind of like has just gone too far and they just can't really come back from it.
Was that a
maybe like
Happy Days
the
reference?
time traveling chamber that Urkel was getting into or whatever that turned him into Stefan Urkel.
yeah.
Maybe that was like when the show kind of like had officially just gone
Yeah,
too
they-
far.
It
I don't know.
ended for the last season was a shit show.
I didn't know they added on Urkel late in, like, while the show had been going, and then they sprinkled Urkel in and it worked. And then they're like, hey guys, he's the new center of the show. And the rest of the cast resented him for that shit.
No shit.
You know what I think is cool is that the dad on that show is gay, and then also Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince is gay.
Carl Winslow's fucking gay?
What is it
Winslow?
about, like, you know,
Really?
the gay people that they're better at like expressing like everyday heterosexual life on TV than actual heterosexual people?
You're blowing my mind.
They're just good actors.
Like it can't be
a
a
great
coincidence.
actor.
I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
I hope I'm not like wrong. I'm pretty sure they're
I was
both
like, you just
gay.
blew my fucking mind.
Carl Winslow?
Oh,
God damn.
Winslow. Well, not easy. Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump.
Damn, I
Ooh,
fucking
yes.
love both. I've seen both so many times.
Me too.
I really fuck with Pulp Fiction though, so I think I'll probably take that. Although I think I honestly like, I went a long time in my life. I would say I like stopped crying around like the age of like 12, and then like in the past couple of years, I've managed some good cries. Like I've kind of opened up again, like to be able to do that. But like I remember kind of like cracking the seal a little bit watching Forrest Gump when I was maybe like 25 or some shit. Like somehow it just really kind of like it just really hit, and I was just like, oh fuck, man.
Jenny's such a fucking whore.
Such a good guy. He's fast. I'm gonna break this shit.
He's
Sorry.
retarded and he's got a heart of gold.
He's the NCAA champion.
His friend loves shrimp.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. I would pick that movie any day, all day, or Truman Show.
His
It's my
girlfriend has
favorite shit.
AIDS.
She does have AIDS. No one
Yeah,
wants to say it.
no, Jenny's not.
This is a recurring topic on the show. As we
You don't
talk
believe
about
it?
this.
We don't fuck with Jenny here.
No, we don't fuck with Jenny. She brought AIDS to him.
She put
was
the
like,
homie at risk.
Yeah, that's
here,
what we're
I have
saying.
AIDS. It's your son.
I hope she made fucking Forrest throw on a Jimmy, man, because that's
Something,
fucked
man.
up.
That's
It's not.
fucked up.
You fuck a hot girl with AIDS if you wear a condom?
No.
No?
Fuck no.
Damn, man.
Your face.
It's like almost impossible to get it from a vagina anyway, bro. I bet you fuck plenty of girls who fucking got HIV and you just let it rock.
Oh shit! That took a dark turn, man. No, but no, I wouldn't. If that was a choice, I'm a pass. I'll go like smoke weed.
You do things that are like riskier than that. Like every time you get in a car is probably riskier than that.
It's very risky.
Through a condom. Like you're only getting AIDS through blood, pretty much.
We don't know the science behind this shit.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not.
saying, I think you should dabble. You
Oh,
should-
look, you should dabble. Yo, this took a great turn.
Yeah, this is
This
what we're
took a
talking
Pulp
about with
Fiction
Dr. Drew.
turn. This is
Yeah.
definitely not a Forrest Gump. Okay. Jesus Christ. The original It or Chucky? Tim Curry It or Chucky?
I don't even think I've seen either of them, honestly.
Whoa.
Like, I don't really like. I
don't
was
fuck with
never
scary
drawn to
movies.
like horror movies or scary.
But as a
movies.
kid, no.
They didn't. Neither of them really scared you in the
I might have
90s?
seen Chucky, but I don't even think I've seen it. Maybe I did. and I'm
Tim
just, like,
Curry It's
forgetting.
good as fuck. The original ones.
We got to put Freddy Krueger in there.
Yeah, we got to put Freddy Krueger. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
I see
right.
that shit. Yeah.
Okay, everybody's seen that. All right. Mario or Donkey Kong?
Mario.
Good
Because I got like, Nintendo right when it came out in 91 or 2 or whenever the fuck that was. And it was just like, it comes with Mario and then Duck Hunt. And Duck Hunt is okay.
so sick, though.
Shows the power of the gun. It's pretty cool. It's actually kind of amazing that they were able to pull that off back in the day.
Yeah.
They
But
both
then,
hold up.
Mario, like he
It's
was
too fun,
the
bro.
dude, like the game, like the only game that you gave a fuck about was Mario. And then like, Zelda comes and that's cool. And like, then you start having some variety. And obviously now there's 5 million fucking games. But I remember fondly the days where Mario was the only thing. And
That was
you
okay.
know,
Yeah.
he's a little fucking plumber. He's cute as
So
fuck.
cool.
He's got a brother who wears green and he's taller than him. It's crazy. It's fucking.
I love your comparison.
Capturing a princess. No, I fuck with Donkey Kong, but like,
It's okay.
it's all right.
all
I
right.
never really got that into it. But I'm stupid good at Tetris.
Really, I
played
fucking
Tetris.
so bad at it.
I was so good at it on Nintendo back in the day. And then Nintendo Switch, they came out with Tetris 99, which is like a fucking battle royale format. So it's like Fortnite where you have 100 people or 99 people and you battle to get number one. A year of my life I spent playing this game nonstop. Like every day I'll get home from fucking work playing Tetris 99. Like,
Damn, from work playing Tetris?
bro,
Oh,
I was playing it
shit.
so much. And then I just stopped cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
Are you a gamer? Or?
I play online poker now.
Gotcha.
I used to be a gamer, hardcore, but then I just kind of fell
Good
out
at
of
that
the loop.
fucking
after a
Rubik's Cube.
Nah, I never got into that.
I
I
was
have
the
one.
Tetris
I always
shit.
wanted to learn, but I get it. Like I started watching videos about how you do it, and I kind of get it, but I just kind of lost interest before I actually like follow through with learning like the next like 50 steps. Like I learned like step 1 and 2 of like I started to feel like, oh, I can see how this works. Fuck, whatever.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with most shit in life.
Oh, what the fuck? We do have it. You're high.
Huh.
Full House. We're both high. Full House or Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell was everything to me at a certain point. I fuck with Full House. It
was sick.
Saved by the Bell was like,
It's overrules.
it's just so fucked up because it's the same reason that I feel like Euphoria is fucked up. I just got done watching Euphoria and it's like, it's so good. But it's like, they have like the hottest fucking 28-year-old chick, 25-year-old chick, whatever, and she's supposed to be playing a 17-year-old. So it's kind of creepy because I remember being a kid and like looking at AC Slater and Zach Morris. I was just talking about this on the podcast and thinking like, how the fuck am I going to compete with these guys? Like these grown ass men dripping in swag and shit. And like Kelly Kapowski, she's like fucking a million times hotter than any girl in my school. Like, it just creates like such a fucking weird expectation for kids when you have these adults
thought about it
playing
like that.
children,
That's a yeah.
I just saw the brown. I just saw Mario Lopez like, yo, he's brown. He looks like my dad. Oh shit, Jerry curls like my dad.
But, he's a big motherfucker with muscles and shit.
He was
like,
cool
Who the
as
fuck looks
fuck.
like that when you're like 60?
Whatever happened to Zach Morris? Mario is such a
He's
star.
on like a
still.
CSI show now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Good
Yeah,
for
he's
him.
still doing some shit. Every time I see him, I'm like, fucking Zach Morris. It's crushing it.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I fucking love that fool.
Also, I would like to nominate The Office.
For what?
I love it. It's just like
my favorite show
I've
all
watched The Office more than any show in my like adult
all time.
life, pretty much. Yeah.
Of all time. That's my favorite show. I've been watching it with Rosie. I took a 6-month break last year because I watch it every night
Really?
as I fall asleep and smoke weed for the past, going on 11 years.
I'll just
With her. It's
pop
bad.
in here and there and like watch a season.
It's bad.
Randomly, You know
what I do a thing? Like, hey, you pick your favorite episode of the season and I'll pick mine and then we'll just go to the next season. It's so fucking awesome. Because you don't know what they picked. You can't look. I'm packing balls. I'm like, yo, what? Diwali. Oh, fuck yeah.
Diwali.
Yo, it's such a good, like, would you pick? Fuck. Try it. If that's your favorite show, please try it. Rosie and I do that shit every day. Except for the past month, I've been trying to watch Seinfeld only.
Yeah. Seinfeld's like another massive one.
Yeah, I'm too stuck on The Office, and you fucking know. He just got me the signed script.
Really?
For fucking Christmas.
Wow.
For The Office, yeah, I fucking got it in my house.
A bunch of random office shit.
Random Office shit. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan.
Don't really give a fuck about either of them, to be honest, because I don't really listen to like pop music or like anything besides rap, pretty much. And then I don't care about basketball or any sport really. So probably Michael Jordan, just because I watched that fucking show about him and I thought it was gangster as fuck, and he's like a gambling addict. And I don't really like Michael Jackson. Yes, I fuck with a lot of his music, but I'm not like a huge fan. Like spent a lot of my time really going out of my way to listen to him.
No, but I'm just saying, like, as a kid, I remember everyone at school was on Michael Jordan fucking hard. Every recess, that's all everybody was talking about.
Of course.
So yeah, that's why we put that in there, like as a kid. But if you don't care about either, then that's the perfect question that we should ask.
No, I respect them both, definitely, but not
In the
not
90s,
like really a connoisseur of either of their art forms. So to me, it's kind of like whatever.
Whatever, yeah. All right, so last one. I always do this. Keenan and Kel, orange soda is what I like to think of it, or the light skinned rabbit. That's quick. As a kid in the 90s.
The light skinned rabbit.
With a little light skinned rabbit on the Nesquik jar.
Okay, yeah.
If you had to pick that, or Keenan and Kel orange soda, what was it as a kid?
What was Keenan and Kel orange soda? Just the
just
skit, or
orange soda.
Just the fucking fact that they would talk about it and shit.
No, I'm just saying Keenan and Kel because
It makes it more 90s.
it makes it more in my head.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying orange soda in general because you can't say sun
versus fucking
as a
quick.
kid. As a kid, man.
I never really drank a lot of chocolate milk, or I don't know.
Damn, these I've never had anybody go, nah.
I never really.
That's crazy.
I don't really
right?
fuck with any of this shit.
That's the first time this ever happened.
And I would drink orange soda for sure a little bit, but I don't know. Honestly, my parents were pretty smart because I wouldn't really want my kid drinking like fucking a bunch of sugary fucking juice.
Fuck
and
no.
shit.
But in the 90s, man, we were eating. I'm a fucking fag. I was eating Gushers and shit. So that's why I bring that shit up.
I was definitely eating candy all the fucking time, but my parents didn't give me like a lot of like sugary drinks, so it was never really my thing. This is honestly, the fact that I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper from the burger stand around the corner is pretty fucking hilarious to me right now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Man.
Yeah, I got to switch these questions up, man. All right. Well, that was it, dude. Thank you. That was Who Were You in the 90s?
Fire.
Fuck yeah. So these are both out. Perfect fucking timing. And Marty, you got anything else you want to add?
I think it's interesting you two both pulled your names, Dope as Yola and No Jumper, out of lyrics. But I always thought No Jumper was a reference to the Biggie lyric. You're slinging crack rock and you got a wicked jump shot. I just assumed that.
Oh, no.
But I just looked it up and it's not that.
Oh, no. Gucci Mane.
Yeah. What about that stood out to you that was like ended up being the name of your show?
Just like early on, it was supposed to be like a blog about like underground rappers before it ended up being a podcast with underground rappers, So I remember out of the brand names I've done, that was kind of the one that we put the most thought into, where we had like a whole big list of like 100 different rap lyrics, different little like chunks of songs and shit. Like at one point I really wanted to call it Up North Trips, and then I realized that was like a rap blog as well as a song. So I was like, I can't like swagger jack that. But then, yeah, we landed on No Jumper because Gucci says 95 Air Max because I'm a dope runner. balling like an athlete, but got no jumper, and thought it was kind of clever, like no jumper, you know, like you're getting money, but you can't play ball. Okay. So you found another way to get money. Because like in the beginning, I was doing a lot of interviews with like, you know, people that were like the third in command, you know, like there's like the star rapper and then his homie and then his homie. And I was doing interviews with like, you know, whoever the fuck would let me interview him because I was just really trying to get in the game. So it was kind of like, you know, we were just really like, you know, just because somebody's not the star rapper, you could still have
of course.
Good conversation on camera, you know?
Fuck yeah.
You fuck with Griselda? We're big on Griselda over here.
Yeah, I had Benny on the podcast like 3 times.
Good shit, yeah.
That's why I asked that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Nice. We're trying to get him on here too.
Yeah, that's I mean, Buffalo, that's all him.
Yeah, Benny's the man.
I love seeing that shit happen. I'm sure you can appreciate it because they're really independent. I'm sure you know their whole background and shit, but even when back in 04, 05, I always tell him, like, Benny was putting out mixtapes and shit back then. The Tana Talk series, part 4, he's about to drop. That shit started way back then.
That's crazy.
Montana Ave.
I was oblivious. I didn't know what the fuck they were doing up there. I was fucking listening to Papoose and shit.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Were you ever like, damn, I'm into this, like, New York legendary hip-hop. I'm trying to tap into this newer age of hip-hop. Was it like a gray area of I don't actually listen to a lot of this shit?
No, because the thing is that I was like, you know, it was like 2014 or 15 or whatever, and like there was just such a dope scene in downtown LA. You had like Ham on Everything putting on crazy ass shows with like, you know, Riff Raff and Krayshawn and fucking, you know, like, you know, Soulja Boy and like all these artists who were like really buzzing at the time. And so I had always like all through, like I was never like a rap fan, like feeling the need to have an opinion about every single fucking thing that was going on in the rap game. It was just like I had the rap that I liked, that I paid attention to, and then there was like a bunch of shit that I wasn't interested in, you know. And then around like 2011, 2012 or whatever, that's when you really started to have like underground rap online popping off, where all of a sudden you could have like an Odd Future who just like exploded with no industry cosigns just because it was like some cool shit. ASAP Mob, the whole white girl mob bullshit, whatever, like Action Bronson, Riff Raff, all that shit coming out at the same time. And like, so I started like really going to those kind of shows and like warehouses and shit. And so that's just like what I was fucking with, going to those shows, doing coke, taking drugs, fucking drinking, like going crazy. And then all of a sudden, like, we have this bike shop. It's right in the middle of downtown. You know, we had like Lil Peep is like living around the fucking corner with Lil Tracy, like staying up all night, every night, recording music and shit. You have fucking, you know, like Puya just stopping by, like all these Playboy Cardis riding a fucking BMX bike around downtown, just stopping by in the middle of the fucking day. Like all this shit was just happening in that area or in that at that time. And so it was just like a supernatural transition for me to just start doing content with all kinds of people like that.
That's super authentic. Yeah. It just was where you were at and what you were living.
Yeah, I was just hanging out in this fucking bike shop trying to make something happen every day, doing vlogs, doing interviews, just really, like, I remember at that time my goal was to get to $10,000 a month on YouTube, and it just felt like I had just been grinding for like years and years with like the fucking dollar amount just floating in the same area. And like when No Jumper started to pop off, actually it was like the month that the BMX channel also started to pop off, where I just had like a random vlog get like 3 million views, and we got like a huge surge of subscribers, and like all of a sudden I had like an 11K month on AdSense, and I'm just fucking like, yes, I fucking killed it. I'm so hyped. But at the same time, the interviews start going crazy, and I'm realizing like, holy fuck, this is like a way bigger opportunity, and I'm way more excited about interviewing rappers and shit rather than like I was really getting bored with it, because I was just kind of like going to the skate park with the fucking homies, just making iPhone vlogs, doing tricks every day. It was just kind of like uninspired after a while, so I just kind of burnt out on that shit. But right before I started putting all my effort into No Jumper.
Damn. So that was two completely different channels?
Yeah, the other channel still exists. If you search on some shit, it's got like 400,000 subs or something.
Good shit. Still has a following. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We almost never uploaded on it, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Well, dude, Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for smoking.
Fuck
Thank you for hitting the bong.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hitting the
Thank you,
fucking
guys.
bong.
Hey,
Good shit.
Kiki hit the bomb.
The giant bong. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. When does the show come out again? What time?
Tuesdays at 6 p.m. out California time. If you want to watch us live, come tune in, get in the chat, talk some shit.
Good shit. You guys are in the premiere?
No, we just do it live.
You guys are in the chat, live chat, and doing all that.
No, we don't. Well, we crack the chat open at the end, and we look at like the donations and shit during it. But we pretty much keep the chat off so we can just focus on the conversation for the 2 hours.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much. This has been the Adam 22 episode. I'm Dope as Yola. Have a dope ass day.
I can tell your eyes.
I'm pretty high, man. Yeah. It's only smoked like a fucking eighth, and I'm pretty fucking high.
Trevor Wallace and Dr. Drew, no weed.
Yeah, I haven't no weed interviews the past couple weeks.
That shit was fire, y'all.
Appreciate you guys. Fuck yeah, man. Thank you for coming.
My bad about talking on the microphone part, but that shit was just too funny because I seen the weed kicking in and out of nowhere the microphone.
Bro, this shit just fucking hell. It's been turning a little every episode, man. And it finally fucking happened, bro.
Perfect.